This is the primary book I'm using as a study guide, The Prophecies of Daniel by Lehman, L-E-H-M-A-N, Strauss, S-T-R-A-U-S-S. I got it through the Friends of Israel website. That's where I found it. Okay, the book of Daniel, chapter 2. We probably know that this particular chapter of Daniel is probably the most famous chapters in the Bible. It's hard to find anybody that hadn't heard about the statue, that Daniel, that Nebuchadnezzar has the dream about and what it all means. But it's probably one of the most famous books in the Bible or chapters in the Bible in terms of prophecy. We can, look at this and we see that the rise and fall of world powers, and you can kind of see what's going on in the world today. How there's we got the UN thing going on. We got all these world leaders jockeying for position and power. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be the next superpower? So this prophecy that we look at in this section, and we look at the rise and fall of kingdoms, of empires, and knowing that God is in control and has a plan. Why was there such revelation taking place at this particular time in history with Israel? One of the things that was taking place with Israel, of course, they've been through a lot by this time. They've experienced captivity. They've experienced all of this kind of craziness and stuff's been going on, and so they needed some reassurance from God. Think about it. Their nation's been dismantled. There's probably a lot of curiosity about, what's going to happen to what was once this nation? We talked a little bit about that last week, how Israel it's an amazing story to think that group of people that has been shipped all over the world, so persecuted, but yet has maintained their national identity, and has really, it's one of the longest surviving populations that's been able to do that. And especially that's gone, you think about China, okay, but look at China, they haven't gone anywhere. They've been there a long, long time, yes, but they haven't had to experience what the people of Israel, nobody's taken China and moved everybody out of China into another foreign land. So when you look at what's happening with these people, it's pretty amazing. So at this particular time, they're needing some type of revelation to help them understand, what about us? What's going to happen to the nation? What's going to happen to us as a people? And what does the future look like for us as a people? And so there was a need for this revelation to take place at this particular time. The dreams spoken of in Daniel's prophecy are different from the dreams that we experience today. We don't have the dreams that was taking place back then were, if you were my prophet, then I'm going to show you something. And it says in Numbers 12:6, it says, if there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. And then we have Job 33:14 through 16. It's clearly stated that God spoke to men, and in dreams to write his ways on their hearts and minds. Again, we go to Abimelech in Genesis chapter 20, verse 3, Joseph, Genesis 37:5, Pharaoh in Genesis 41:1-25, and Solomon in 1 Kings 3:5, where we see God coming to these individuals in a dream. Now, God no longer speaks to us in dreams. The dreams that we have are based on other stuff. They're not from God. Dreams in our day are not the result of inspiration, but they're basically the result of indigestion. No, I'm just kidding. Some of it is physical, but emotional, and a lot of it is psychological causes. So God doesn't speak to us through dreams. I mean, we don't have those things happening. So let's look at the dream of Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him," or departed from him. So, with the overthrow of Jerusalem and the Jews, Nebuchadnezzar had basically elevated himself to the man. He was the dominant leader, ruler on the planet. He was in a very powerful position. But he was troubled about the future of his empire. He was wondering how long it was going to stay and how long he was going to be able to maintain position and power in that empire. And in verse 29 it says that the king was anxious. He was showing anxiety over what should come to pass hereafter. He was troubled. He was really distraught about what the potentials were. And here we're reminded that the power and wealth in and of themselves will not provide us with a peace of mind. All we have to do right now is look at our culture. How fast is everybody going? I mean, they are going fast. And I'm guilty. It's like I'm describe it like the hamster in a wheel just spinning around, going so fast but not getting anywhere. And what are we chasing? What are we after as a culture? Families don't eat together. They don't spend any time together. Parents don't spend any time with children. Children don't spend any time with parents. Children are running between 4 and 5 different sports activities. In addition, it's so crazy. So what are we doing? We're chasing after something. I heard them talking on the radio today about you better make sure that your children stay healthy, because universities are now evaluating the health of individuals coming to the university. If that child has been a sickly child with a lot of stuff going on, flus and all that stuff, they're not accepting them. So, what are we after? We're pushing our kids so hard. We're pushing ourselves so hard. Chasing after, just like no different than what Nebuchadnezzar was. He chased it, and he achieved it. But then what happened to him?
Turn.
He's got anxiety, he's got stress, he's gone over the top. He's worrying about this stuff. Now what do? We sit around and worry. We get it. We get all this stuff, and then what do? We worry about that stuff. Well, somebody could steal it. It could burn up. Now we've got it all, and now we worry about it. We get anxious, we get over the top again, worrying about stuff. And we see this happening with Nebuchadnezzar. He says, "He who reaches for power and possessions in this life will never be satisfied." We'll never be satisfied. As long as you're chasing after something in this world, you'll never be satisfied. It says, "The man of the world who has his portion in this life only," in Psalm 17:14, "is living for a world that is passing away," 1 John 2:17, so that his assets actually become his burden. We are, look at our nation, look at our kids, look at what's going on, chasing the things of this world, and what do we get? Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's on some kind of medication because they're stressed out, they can't sleep, they're troubled. It just spins a wheel that goes nowhere. So conscience, which makes cowards of all of us, was troubling. Even this pagan king was troubled. He was worried about what was going to happen. But what really troubled him was what was going to happen in the hereafter. So he has this dream, and it's telling him something, and he is troubled big time. It says,